While browsing the internet the other night, I came across something that just caught my eye. A new upgrade that I had not yet done to my bike. Expensive, pointless, it was perfect. And to my delight, I could even make it more expensive. I had to have one, instantly filling my cart with as many as I could carry. I couldn't be stopped. The intoxicating feeling, I can't pass up this deal.
What if they never sell it again? Will the bike market crash?
You should really be saving for the future.
I should get
That's not very cash money of you.
For me.
But you don't need
My
one.
bike is special and deserves a treat.
You are so broke right now. Dude, don't buy ceramic speed. Christmas is coming. Maybe Santa will be happy with what you have.
Is this all just a bunch of bullshit? Now, specifically, the people I'm talking to on this one, this isn't going to be for, obviously, the pro riders, the upper levels, the upper echelons. This is for us. This is for the guys who just kind of like to go out and just ride our bike a little bit and just have some fun. Why I picked these things is these are upgrades that, yeah, you could do to your bike, but why would you? Most of these are just kind of a waste of money if you are just kind of in the enthusiast hobby area of the sport and not really looking to compete all that much. Most of them are not really going to give you that much benefit. They're really, really expensive and frankly kind of stupid for a few of them. But even a couple that I've done myself, which is why I get to now put them on the list, because I can say from personal experience, this was stupid and I shouldn't have bought it. So let's go ahead and we're just going to jump right in with number 5 on our list, and that is going to be padded seat covers. I am sure that you have seen someone riding one of these poor things. Normally you can get them at Target or Walmart for a couple bucks, and it looks like almost like a little bag with a padding on top that's meant to go over your saddle and then zip the little string closed to hold it in place and give you extra padding on your saddle. The reason I think that these things are absolutely stupid is they are actually going to be worse for you than just getting a more padded saddle. Now, the reason for this is as your saddle sits on the seat post, it is in a fixed position. It is not going to be moving at all. So when you put a pad on top of it that is not actually secured down, as you're moving and riding, it is going to start to slip in either direction with your legs. This is going to rob you of some of that power transfer and also just be extremely uncomfortable. What I think you really would be better off with doing if you are needing some extra comfort on the saddle is just going with something like this as an example. This is a Selly SMP, and this is one of their models that does have quite a bit of extra padding in there. They even have this one called the Extra. So something like this with a nice channel to relieve any sort of pressure on your taint. And extra cushioning along the backside and the nose as well for a really, really comfortable ride. Also, it has this fun, funky little shape that I've always really liked from these saddles. And my dad gave me this one because he just wasn't using it anymore. But I've been wanting to try it out and see how it is. So we'll probably do something on that coming very soon. But honestly, if you need more comfort out of your saddle, something like this is probably going to be great. But also a misconception that a lot of people think of when they see thinner, more modern saddles is that they have to be uncomfortable because there is no padding on them. The point of thinner saddle is it's going to flex with you as you move, and that's where a lot of the comfort is going to come from, is from that flexing motion as you're riding your bike. Now, this is going to be extremely personal to everyone. One saddle that I think is the best may not be what someone else is the most comfortable on. So you're gonna have to try around, you're gonna have to test a couple out, maybe even see if your buddies would let you try theirs for a little bit or something to find the one that you really like. But don't get one of these padded seat covers. Now, I'm putting this one at number 5 because this is a very common one, but also not one that's really gonna be looked at by most people trying for actual performance. I just wanted to put this one on there because I think it's stupid. It's just really dumb. All right, next up on our list, we are going to have carbon stems. Now, I know a lot of you are probably already thinking that, don't I own a carbon stem? Yeah, I do. I bought a carbon stem. And this is the one that I have actually done, so I can tell you it's really stupid. Yeah, I have an Easton EC90 stem on my bike right now, and I'm going to tell you perfectly frankly, honestly, I don't notice a difference. There's no main difference between the aluminum stem that I had on there and this carbon one. So honestly, I'm thinking about switching back to an aluminum stem. Also because my reach is a little too far on my bike right now and I want to bring it back in a little bit. So I'm going to shorten down my stem length. I think my EC90 is about 110 millimeters or 120 if I'm remembering correctly. So I'm going to shorten it down and I'm going to go with something like the EA90 from Easton. This stem is 10 grams heavier, and really 10 grams is not a weight difference that is going to make that much of a difference on your race day. It's not going to be the 10 grams that's going to cost you that win or anything like that. And it really is just going to do nothing more than to empty your pocketbook when an aluminum one works perfectly fine and does the job great. So carbon stems, I think it's kind of just a waste of your money. You'd be better off putting that money into something else in the bike than buying one of these carbon stems that can cost a couple $100 each. Now, I mean, obviously, if your bike already comes with a carbon stem, I'm not saying switch it out right now. I'm saying this is just something that maybe you don't need to waste your money on if you have a perfectly functioning and fine aluminum stem. Now, next up at number 3, what we're going to be talking about is oversized pulley wheels. I'm sure you've gotten ads for these. I'm sure you've seen them at the local crit or group ride. Someone pulling up with their insanely large pulley wheels on their rear derailleur, and I think they're dumb. I mean, quite honestly, if you look at the prices of some of these things, going several $100s for oversized pulley wheels, $436 for this ceramic speed. Just for the pulley wheels themselves, $379. Now, a lot of science, I'm sure, goes into these and telling you why they can be better and how many watts they can save you. But really, at the end of the day, if you're just looking to ride your bike, have some fun, do some grand fondos, and maybe a crit race or two, this would just be a waste of your money. I mean, you could get yourself pretty dang close to an okay set of carbon wheels that you could then put on your bike and you'd see a lot more benefits out of than 2 oversized pulley wheels. Now, I don't think that there is no purpose for these. I think there is a use for them, and I think they can be very good in pro situations. But personally, for me, I don't see the point, and I see lots of people who don't need to be making this upgrade going ahead and doing it anyway because it kind of looks cool. And I mean, yeah, obviously they look neat with their oil slick colors and their massive size and everything like that. But honestly, there's no point. It really is not going to make you that much better of a cyclist. It's just going to be an extra little piece on your bike that just makes it look flashy. And I mean, hey, if you want to do that, then fine. I'm not going to stop you or tell you you can't do it. I'm just going to maybe laugh at you a little bit for wasting all that money on something that's kind of pointless. All right, and here at number 2, we're staying in kind of generally the same vein because we're still talking about the rear derailleur here. And number 2 is going to be carbon Aero rear derailleur mech hanger cover things.
Hey guys, it's me. So I am editing the video right now and I'm going through this section and I don't know why, but for some reason I kept saying derailleur hanger when I meant cage. The cage, the part that holds the pulley wheels. I know it's a cage, but for some reason I just kept calling it a derailleur hanger for like this entire segment. And so instead of reshooting the whole thing, just know when I say derailleur hanger, I mean cage. I spoke wrong, and yeah, so I'm just back to the video.
Honestly, come on, guys, can we not, as an industry altogether, just step back and look at this and go, maybe that's a little stupid? Like, honest to God, who is buying these? I want you, if you have bought one of these, I want you to let me know in the comments because these things are $800 for a little Aero cover for your derailleur. Now, this is the ultimate example of a piece of equipment that if you are good enough to need this, someone will give it to you. Don't waste your money buying one of these things. I am gonna tell you right now, no one has ever won a race in the history of cycling because of a derailleur hanger on their bike. And let's face it, most of you who want one of these, you're probably putting it on a bike that doesn't really have any aero benefits to begin with, so it's not going to give you anything. Obviously, yeah, the Ironman triathletes and everything like this who are racing out in Hawaii and doing these massive time trial races, yeah, maybe they do need one of these things. Tour de France riding cyclists in the time trials, yeah, maybe they can put one of these on and maybe it'll give them some sort of advantage. But quite honestly, this is one of the most pointless things you could probably ever do to your bike. Don't waste your money on these things. Don't give them the satisfaction of, oh, well, people are buying them. We need to make more. Stop it. Stop it right now. We do not need a single another Aero cover for a fucking derailleur hanger. What are we thinking? What is this? And I mean, I've seen people who have even 3D printed these things. And if you want to do that, go ahead and do that, because you're going to waste about, what, like 15 cents worth of the plastic fluid and everything like that. So yeah, if you want one of these, honestly, hit up one of your buddies with a 3D printer and just do that. Don't waste your money on a $700 derailleur hanger cover. I mean, ugh. Or do what you want. I can't tell you what to do. Now, before we unveil number one, I do have a little honorable mention here that I want to talk about for a second. Anything off of Temu or Wish, just don't. What are you guys doing? I keep seeing video after video after video of people buying this shit off of Temu and Wish and testing it out to see if it's any good. And I'm sure there are people out there who are like, oh, it actually is pretty good. It's not. There is no way that any of this is any good or anything I would trust. Do not buy carbon components off of these websites. I mean, beyond the quality concerns of this equipment, there are major concerns with where these products are even being made. So that's something to consider too. And also, if you're not familiar with these websites, Temu and Wish, they do have very deep discounts on what look like name brand and designer things that really are just kind of cheap knockoffs. And so you'll pay a very low price for it, and then it arrives to you whenever. It arrives to you when it arrives to you. And so because of that uncertain shipping time frame, they're able to offer these low prices. Yeah, really just, I would say don't buy from them, because there's some major ethical questions about supporting those companies right there. Number one, though, we are going to be moving on to that. This is our number one of the dumbest upgrades that you can make to your bike, and it is going to be carbon chain rings. Now, you've heard me say this before in a couple of videos about my absolute hate for carbon chain rings, and yeah, it's number one. These are the dumbest thing you can put on your bike. Carbon is strong. That is a fact. Carbon is a very strong material. Carbon can also be a very brittle material, especially when it comes to sharp impacts. So you do not want to be putting a carbon component on something that is going to have the most contact points on your entire bike. Every single pedal stroke, every time you turn that thing, it is coming into contact with the chain. And this can cause fraying in the carbon, which then can lead to cracking, which can then lead to catastrophic failure. This is going to be the biggest waste of money that you could ever spend your money on. Again, if you are good enough to need this, someone will give it to you. And then you will have your own mechanic who can make sure that it is in top condition. But if you are a person who does not have a team mechanic, is maybe even a home mechanic but not that experienced, don't take the risk of putting carbon chain rings on your bike. Come on. There are so many other options out there to save weight on your crank than having to go to carbon chain rings. Carbon arms, carbon spiders, those are okay. Do not get carbon chain rings. That is just an absolute waste of money. But that is just my thoughts on what I think are probably the 5 dumbest upgrades that you could make to your bike. But maybe you have some different thoughts on that. So go ahead and put those in the comments, because I want to hear about these, because I've seen a lot of crazy things done to bikes over the years, and I want to see some of your horror stories, especially if you're a mechanic. What's the craziest thing that's ever been brought up into your shop? Because whoa, people do some wild things at home. But yeah, keep the comments going down there. I love talking to you guys. And again, thank you so much for the response to my last video. It was insanely overwhelming and it was so exciting. And we need to talk about something very, very important. How I pronounce this company's name. Now, a lot of you down in the comments on my last video seem to have a lot of thoughts on this that I seem to be saying it wrong. And I would just like all of you to know that I went ahead and looked it up and yeah, you're correct. Yeah, you're 100% correct. Yeah, I was saying it wrong. Quite honestly, I honestly don't even remember saying it that way. And as this one viewer pointed out, I'm just gonna blame Dayquil for that one because that was a weird few days. But I am not above admitting when I was wrong, and I was on this one, so my apologies to Rafa, as everyone was telling me it is pronounced, except for these guys. Like, guys, you're still just writing the company name. That doesn't have a pronunciation in there. And to commemorate this moment in my young YouTube career, I went ahead and made these shirts for it that are going to be for sale very, very soon. Also, some fun things from the last video. I got to talk to Nick from Neo Pro Cycling, so shout out to Nick. He is sending me some kits to test out for them. And yeah, just super nice guy, so that was really appreciated that the video got the attention to get it to them. So yeah, I've got some other companies wanting to send me products for review, so those are going to be coming pretty soon as well. Other than that, yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. But I hope you guys ride safe out there, stay safe, stay warm. It's winter time. It's nice and rainy here today, so I'm going to go make some tea and yeah, kind of just enjoy the rest of my day. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye.